Marion and Betska, I'm asking you a very important question. When any employee lost his job or her job, so I'm asking you because some people feel very bad, some people take it positive, some people take it negative. So I'm asking you, both of you, and I'm wondering what is the impact of the employee as a human mental human mentality and thinking.
Mm, mm.
You please,
That, that
look.
that's a great question, Raj, because in my experience, I've seen both. I had to let go of employees, but I've also seen companies or people that have been impacted or friends or whatnot. And it's a very personal thing, and it really can have both sides to it, where I have seen employees actually being relieved when a position ended because they might have not had the courage to say goodbye or to leave their position or go somewhere else that perhaps is something more fitting. Maybe they're even treated better in a different place, because that's another thing you're seeing quite a bit, that is toxic environments that are not good for the employees. But the other side of it, of course, if you're losing your job or employees are losing their job, there's this first moment of shock. It's a very personal thing. A lot of uncertainty comes in, a lot of fear comes in, oftentimes coupled with financial stress. And so, what I always encourage people, once they get that step back to say, okay, this has happened, is to continue in that victim role is not going to get you into a better place. It's really coming down to taking that responsibility. And yes, perhaps it was unfair. Perhaps it was something that has a really negative impact on you. But at the same time, the moment you will start taking responsibility and really creating something that will get you to a better place is the moment things will change. And so the question I always tell them is, look at it from a perspective that if you could rewrite that story, what would it look like if it worked out for you? Maybe it's a redirection. Maybe it's a different path. Maybe there's something that comes from this that will lead you to something better. And that's the approach that I've seen. You're making progress towards something that is perhaps even better.
And Betska.
Well, Betska, the guru coach, is going to put that hat on here because I always say to my clients right from the very beginning, how do you see this firing or letting go as a gift from God? How is it a gift from God for you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then they go, oh, never thought of it, because they're in that emotional state, right? So our career transition system is I really love it because what it does is it helps them to create a resume and, really look at their lives to see maybe they've got strengths and talents in some area. Maybe they can carve ducks, for example, out of wood. Maybe they can make a business out of that. And, so we explore all avenues, all of their talents, and then create a resume and a job search objective that is usable for them, something that they're passionate about doing, right? Because oftentimes when we're kicked out of our organization, it's because we weren't passionate about that. God wants us to go and find another type of job that suits our spirit. Now, having said that, what is vital and the most important part of our career transition system is we address the emotional impact. So we talk to them about come up for them. Of course, they've lost their self-confidence. They've lost their self-esteem, right? And they're worried about what their previous boss is going to say to a potential new boss. And they're worried. They've got mortgages. They've got, they have to feed their families. So we need to address all of those emotions and get rid of them. We want to take them from that negative space into a positive space. We call it a higher frequency. And then they are in a better stage to go and look for another job. But if you've got all that pain in your heart, you can put the best resume together, but it's not going to help you find a good job because the pain is still there. We have to get rid of the pain.
We should reset our mindset.
Yes, exactly. And
And
see it
we
as a gift. Yeah.
actually, what I learned, acceptance is important. Once we lost job, any business contract, so why we are facing problem, because we are not accepting. We are
Mhm.
engaging in blaming
Yeah.
and accusing. I think this is not the right attitude. Once we accept, so we realize, oh my God, that is my mistake. So I will look forward. I think this is the right attitude.
Yeah. What we do is sorry, Marion, you go ahead.
The acceptance comes back to that confidence
Yes.
and taking responsibility to say perhaps it might have not been a great combination with that organization or with the people within, and maybe there's another organization that is more aligned in values, which we spoke about last time. It's not just all about the skills, it's also the values. It's what are we looking as a team to accomplish, and what is the mission of the organization. And so once we get a bit more forgiving about potentially having this hurt to the confidence in our self-esteem, then we can start seeing the various alternative and options that are out there.
When we are working on the emotional impact of their losing their job, we always take them to the relationships they had in that previous job. What was going on there? Because when we are kicked out of an organization spiritually, we are meant to learn something from it. So what is it that we learn? So let's say, for example, the manager and this employee that got fired were at loggerheads. They're fighting all the time, right?
Yes.
And maybe the employee who got fired, didn't like certain negative characteristics of their manager, right? Well, we know when that happens on a spiritual level, there is a mirror happening. So we get the person who was fired to look at the characteristics they disliked about their manager, because that's why this happened, is so that the employee would see that whatever they disliked in their manager, those characteristics are also in them, and it's time for a cleanup. And boy, it's hard for people to see that their boss was a mirror for them. So now they have to look at themselves and say, okay, well, maybe I wasn't such a nice employee. Maybe I didn't do this well, or I could have done this better, right? It's about learning, not about blame and judgment.
Yes.
It's about, as you said, Raj, acceptance and learning. Okay, what am I going to learn?
And
What have I learned from all this?
And our mindset should be broad way. We think in a broad way, acceptance and learning and never die attitude. And this is not the end of this world. If we realize this thing, so we always keep positive and looking forward always. I think, and this is the best positive way to look another job, another opportunity.
And one of the things we love to do with people who've lost their jobs is we want them to look at, maybe even for the first time, what their life spiritual purpose is.
Right.
What is their soul contract with God? Why are they really here? Right? Many people have never ever done that. They just kind of float through life. And maybe they were kicked out of that organization, so they would sit down and think about what would give them meaning in their lives. Maybe that job didn't give them meaning, true meaning and purpose. And then we even have it so finite with our methods that we'll help them find their life spiritual purpose. What is their soul contract with God? And what are they meant to do in the next 6 to 7, 8 months or the next 5 years that would give them meaning and purpose? So it's all a positive. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They're learning about whatever they disliked in their boss is also in them, and then we switch their mindset to love themselves more, right? We help them with a resume. We help them find their life spiritual purpose. My God, they're brand new people by the time they walk out. Very important topic.
Can anybody out there hear me? Hear me?